So if you're trying to do keyword research and you're not sure where to begin, this is going to be the video for you because we are talking about how to do keyword research with AI. There's a couple free AI tools out there that you could use. We'll play around with Claude. I'll show you guys the keyword planner, which is also a free tool, and we'll back it up with some paid tools, and I'll show you guys a few tricks to the trade. So if that sounds good, smash that like button and let's dive into the computer. All right, so let's look at Claude. So I put in help me find high CPC keywords. It did a bunch of research and it came back with relevant information, which is fantastic. So legal services pay out really well. Insurance, education, loans and finance, software and SaaS, tons of stuff. If you're looking for a mortgage, they pay out really well. I also searched the specific, which was literally help me find high CPC keywords in the mortgage niche, and it went out and it did that. So it gave me a bunch of ideas here. It's got some sources that it's quoting, and if we were to put something like home equity loan into the Google Keyword Planner, which is right here, and this is from the thumbnail, just to show you guys reverse mortgage companies, fetching between $19 and $77 per click. So let's take a look here. Home equity loan. Home equity loan, people are paying between $13 and $40 per click. So this is a huge market. You can see here just from the other keywords on the low end and the high end that advertisers are paying top dollar for this. So how would you actually get paid from this? Why would any of this matter to you? Essentially, if you had a website that specialized in this stuff, in the different types of home loans, mortgages, refinance options, companies, etc., and you ran AdSense on the site, then you would be on the receiving end of these costs. Now, would you earn the full $34? No. That is just what the advertiser is paying. Google takes its cut, and by the time you get your money, it might be like a $20 per click income, something like that. But if you think about it in terms of compound interest, let's say you had the website, get the old calculator here. Let's say you had the website and you are earning roughly, let's say between $10 and $40 a click, then at 100 people on your page, you can earn basically $1,000. And then it's really a game of how many people can you shove into the website so that you could get those clicks on the ads. So basically, let's say you're earning, so that was 100 people. Let's say you wanted to get in 3,000 a month, 3,000 people a month. You could start pulling in 30 grand. Now, is that realistic? Is that easy to do? No, it's not, because obviously everybody would be doing that, and you need to know what you're doing. You need to understand either running paid ads, which would be very high risk in this market, or you'd have to understand how to make organic content to drive people in. So we could actually talk a little bit about that, because I think it's a fantastic way to get started, especially if you don't have a niche and you're just trying to figure out what it is to do. Let's say we wanted to run a social media campaign around this world. How would we actually do that? So we could actually pull up ChatGPT, because it's so good at helping us formulate the plan and execute the images. So I'm going to use this for guiding, and then we're going to use Claude to actually come up with the strategy. So let's do a new Claude here, and we'll say, I want to create a social media campaign aimed at the mortgage niche, interested in refinance, loans, mortgages, etc. How would you attack this for various social media platforms? Now, what we need to do is figure out what platforms are going to be the best for something like this. you're going to have to experiment a bit. So how I would approach it is, if you have a website, then either hand reg it with like Namecheap and start building out your social media platforms. So create the Facebook, make the Instagram, make a TikTok, make a Pinterest, whatever it is that you think you want to do. And then you're going to have to start playing around with it. It's saying that you could use LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a good platform because it allows you to write little articles on different topics. So assuming you do your research, you can come up with, mortgage tips for career changes, stuff like that. That's an excellent idea. YouTube, Twitter, X. You can also start posting to Reddit, etc. So let's say we wanted to come up with our strategy here. I'm going to copy and paste right into this, and I'll show you guys. I want to create a social media campaign. How would you attack this for social media platforms regarding the visuals? So how you could actually strategize this is a few ways. You can go about it. Let me grab the whiteboard, actually. Social media is going to be our main way. So social media, SM, that's going to be the organic way to go about it, and that's going to be the easiest method of generating content for it. Because all we need to do is get the prompt together with AI, and then we literally start prompting it for the first image, second image, third image, etc. And it's so easy with that now that you can even schedule it to create the next image once per day. Or if you wanted to go into the AI agent route, which is like way more complicated, you could actually have an entire system that pumps out the content and posts it for you. But that's basically spamming the internet, and I think that's gonna die soon, because these platforms are gonna get so overwhelmed with all the garbage that something needs to change there. So I'm not sure that that's gonna be the method that I would recommend, because nobody wants spam. So we can come up with our prompt, which I will show you. We'll come up with some images, and then you can basically use that to pick up your conversation and just continue to create. So I would aim for between 50 and 100 pieces of social media content, and you could basically post that around. I would make variations depending on what the platform is, and start posting that and seeing how your traction goes. You might start out with a couple hits here and there, and really it works like how YouTube works. I might get a couple videos that get like 100 views, which is basically where I'm at right now with my channel, and then I had like one banger video that got 1,800 views. So you just gotta play the odds and just keep putting out the content, and it will hit. Other methods that you can use for something like this, we'll just go over it really quickly. You could go over it with SEO, which would basically be building up your website over time. The problem with this method is that if you're starting with a brand new website, it's going to be damn near impossible for you to do this. So SEO is not my favorite method for this, because of the amount of time it would take and the effort that it would take to do this. But there is a way to actually shortcut this, and that is with a powerful domain. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well. Because if you have a powerful domain, then you can rank for these keywords. And then you can show up organically in the search results, and you don't have to spend the time and money to create the social media campaign. Now, if it was me, I would do all the above. You want to hit it from all sides, but the domain is really where the money is, because that's going to get you jump started in this whole process. All right, so let's see how ChatGPT did. Build trust. Okay, visuals, carousel showing then versus now, payments. Interesting. Happy families, graphs with interest rate trends, etc. Okay. Let's ask it, would you drive traffic to the page and just have a blog post there? Or would you do some kind of giveaway. And I already know the answer to this, but what I would suggest you do is you do some kind of giveaway on the site. What you want to do is you want to capture the emails and start building your list. Because as you get traffic to the site, a lot of times people will come to the site, they'll click on it, they'll take a look around, and then they'll leave. And then that's the end of it. But especially if you're paying for traffic, if you're doing a huge social media campaign, you're doing all kinds of stuff like this, you want to collect the emails because then you start to own your audience. As you collect the emails, you can offer them some kind of lead magnet, which would basically be something helpful that they are looking for. And then in exchange for the lead magnet, they give you their email, and then you can send them appropriate links that send them back to the website. And then once they're back on the website, that's where you have the Adsense, and that's where you have the other affiliate offers where you can make the money. So it's saying best strategy is a blog post and lead magnet with a call to action. Drive traffic to a blog post that teaches them and warms them up. 3 hidden ways to lower your mortgage payment in 2025. That's actually really good. And then you can offer them a high value, low commitment giveaway, something to get them in the door. And then basically you have them. And once you have them in, then you can start sending them good stuff. So help me craft the visual for and let's aim it really well. So let's say our landing page was all about this. 3 hidden ways to lower your mortgage payment in 2025. So I would say, research and tell me 3 hidden ways to lower your mortgage payment, right? We want to actually get the information for these people. So it's going to say request mortgage recasting. So basically, if you've made a large lump sum payment towards your loan, you can ask your lender to recalculate the monthly payment. That's interesting. You could appeal your property tax assessment. A lot of people have been doing this, especially by me, because the property taxes have, in some places, doubled. And what they're doing is they're fighting the tax assessment. They're saying, hey, my house is not actually worth $5 million, and you shouldn't be taxing me based on that. So people are starting to fight back with that. And then you can remove your PMI insurance, which is basically what you do if you put 20% or less down on your mortgage, then they usually tack this on. So you can request a cancellation of that. So what we can do now is say, this is great. And we're going to create the image that's going to drive people in. Okay, so the visual breakdown. A house icon on top of the house, giant weight labeled $2,300 a month. Okay, it's quite intense. An animated or cartoon style crane or balloon lifting the weight off the house, revealing a no lower rate. Actually, that's pretty badass. I wanted to make this. Yeah, I love this idea. And something that I've learned is that if you can find a problem that somebody's having and you can figure out how to solve it for them, that is really the best part about capitalism. It's the best part about making money online or doing any kind of business in general, in my opinion, because if you can actually help people, then everybody wins. And I just think that's a beautiful thing. All right, so it came up with most homeowners miss these 3 tricks. It actually did a good job. I like this. $2,300 a month. It's lifting it up. Here's your new rate. Lower your payment without refinancing. Most homeowners miss these 3 tricks. And then you could say, okay, great. Please write the post. And then you can just use this thread to continue to generate more and more posts. So you could either do that or you could start running this as your ad. And if you wanted to run this as a Facebook ad, you can run it as that. You would use the same post copy, basically. We just broke down 3 little known ways homeowners are lowering their mortgage payments in 2025, and it could save you hundreds per month without refinancing, without a new credit check, and without waiting for the rates to drop. Here's how to do it. Link in the post. Boom. You send them to the site. The site gives them the information, you have a lead-in magnet, and then you send them back to the website where you actually have the AdSense running, and we're making the doll hairs on the ads themselves. So we've got the social media method, right? So we can literally start making these prompts, start pumping out content, and I would say between 50 and 100 per platform. And you want to vary the posts because you don't want to spam. You don't want to just copy paste across the board. So that means creating good content around it. Maybe if you're going to tackle YouTube, do it with YouTube Shorts to start, and start putting out some good information in actual videos. And obviously know what you're talking about, do the research, and don't give out bad information. The SEO route is interesting to me because doing the keyword research is a lot of the fun, in my opinion. I like it a lot. And with the domain, I want to show you guys a powerful domain and how that works, because that is how rankings ultimately win, and that is how you can start winning too. And I'll show you guys at the end how to actually get some of these domains, because that is absolutely key to this whole thing. So for instance, if we were to just look at reverse mortgage companies, we've got, these big dog websites, Quicken, All Reverse Mortgage, Bankrate, New York City, etc. But if we keep looking, I think we'll find a blog post in here somewhere from a smaller site. I want to show you guys what's possible. So let's keep looking. Go to page 3. So there's a website, reversemortgage.org. Housing Wire. Let's take a look at these guys, because these don't look like a bank. This doesn't look like an actual bank. So this is Housing Wire. So they are more of a news site. Looks like more or less recently updated 4 days ago, 3 days ago, 2 days ago. So it's not the biggest site. Otherwise, they'd have something new today. Let's take a look. And this is for 2024. So this is an old post that they're ranking for on page 3. Let's jump over to the paid tool. So we can see here, this page does not get a lot of traffic, but it does rank for a lot of keywords. And it started at the beginning of the year. Let's see what keywords actually show up for. So they're showing up for the big money names already, right? So they're position 20, position 8. These are getting $9, $13, $20 a click. That's that CPC again. Reverse mortgage companies, best reverse, all this stuff. They have a powerful website because they're clearly showing up for these more competitive keywords. KD means keyword density, 0 being the easiest, 100 being the most difficult, 70 showing up in this like orange color here, or red. That is difficult to show up for. So the fact that they're showing up number 17 and position 20 is pretty indicative of how good the website is. So if I were to just put in Housing Wire, we'll take a look at the larger site overall, and let's see how they do. So they're getting 100,000 people a month with a value of $296,000 per month in traffic. That's what Ahrefs is valuing their traffic at. They're showing up really well for Housing Market, Rocket Mortgage, all this good stuff. And what they're doing it with is their powerful website. And how did they get this? How did they actually make this work? And the real answer to this is a whole lot of blogging and putting out good information. All of this site and their lead capture, all of this site is building out news on real estate, on the research, opinion pieces, different videos, all kinds of stuff like that. And if you were to hunt around and try to find a domain that was powerful like this, it would be very difficult. So ultimately, if you're trying to do this and you're trying to get that ad dollar in the door, there's a couple different ways that you could do it, right? We went over social media, we went over ads. You can run all kinds of different ways to get this traffic in the door. One of the big ways, though, is SEO. And I think people around the internet are saying that SEO is dead. And it is more alive than ever. It's not dead. It's not going anywhere yet. And it is literally imperative to understand how it all works, because if you can understand that a powerful website draws in this traffic, if you can understand that it's from building out a strong site with good content on it, that might take somebody a year. It might take them 5 years, 10 years, longer to build out a really good website. And if you're trying to do this on your own, then I highly suggest you look into buying an expired domain with a huge asterisk. Okay, a lot of people will also go out there and they'll just buy stuff and they don't understand the system behind it, like what it is to actually find in a domain that is worthwhile. It needs to have good backlinks to it, not junky crap that somebody paid money for. It needs to have good rankings in its history. That means that it needs to have shown up in the top 20, top 30 for specific keywords. And then beyond that, I probably wouldn't touch the domain. But there's a skill set that's involved with figuring that part out. And that's why I want you to go to mattmakesmoney.com and I want you to drop your name and email into my email list, because I'm going to start showing you guys how to do that research and how to find a good domain. Also, I have a connection with somebody that does this for a living. He literally buys these domains. He does the research, he does the digging, and he finds them for people. And he finds them in all kinds of different niches, whatever it is that you might be interested in. Plumbing, nails, mortgages, whatever it is, this guy finds them. And it's like digging through the haystack to find the gold. So if that sounds good, if you're interested in that, please head to mattmakesmoney.com, opt into the mailing list, and I'll catch you guys very soon.